Welcome to 180 U-Turn, the talk show that features some of the greatest conversion stories of our time. Stories of men and women who are on the highway to hell when they encountered a Damascus Road event that completely changed their lives around. Well, hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, and today I'm broadcasting live from the Transforming Life Center in the heart of Phoenix, Arizona, one of the premier rehabilitation facilities for addiction services and community support for men who are homeless and in poverty. For more information on their classwork, recovery meetings, work therapy, mentoring, vocational development group, and individual counseling, just hop out to their website at phoenixrescuemission.org. That's phoenixrescuemission.org. And if you want to write me at the show, my email address is steve@180uturn.com. That's steve at 180YOUTURN. And if you've missed any of the show that we're going to highlight today, this is day 3 with Steve Boho. Just think about that. If you haven't seen the first 2, you need to go back out to the site, watch the episodes in chronology so you can get the full Monty of what we're talking about. So Steve, welcome back, day 3.
Thank you.
How do you like sharing?
I like it a lot.
It's great, isn't it?
If somebody would have told me a year ago I'd be doing this, I would think they're bananas, think they're crazy. But as part of my recovery, I've learned that getting things out from the dark into the light and sharing has really been a big thing in my recovery. So it's good to be here.
By the way, just to dovetail on what Steve just said, when you bring things that you think are monsters in your life from the darkness into the light, they get minimized. They get way smaller. So I just encourage you, even though who wants to put this stuff in the light? I don't, but the cockroaches will start running out from your light. The light comes on. I think it's a good thing. So, okay, I like how you start this. We're in our third period. I like this line that Steve uses. He says, you try to cut deals with God, right? I love this line because I have always found out that he's pretty much not a deal maker, right? He wants you on his terms, not on your terms, right? So talk a little bit about this. You told God, you said, I'll give this to you, right? I'm holding on to this. I just want to hold on to this girlfriend. We make these deals, right? Talk a little bit about your deal making.
Well, I was at the rescue mission previously, and I became a little more grounded in my faith, but I still wanted to keep some things on my own and not totally surrender these things to God. I wanted to hold on to the girl, maybe the toxic relationships. I wanted to hold on to some finances. Hey, God, I'll give you this, but I still want to keep this. So I was trying to cut deals with God, and thought maybe that's how it could work. Not looking back now, it's either you're in or you're out. You're either hot or cold. You're not lukewarm. And I was riding the fence, trying to play God.
Steve, I'm just going to ask you. You're a guy that's all in now.
Yes.
Right? All in. You are all in. How can I go from a guy still trying to cut deals and negotiate with God to making the next step, which is forget all that. I'm all in, your terms of surrender, whatever that means, all in.
I think it was when I showed up here this time around, that my next time here at the rescue mission at the front gate, I was really had a lot of humility, was very humbled. I came in definitely not on a winning streak. I just had nowhere else to turn to my desperation. I got down on my knees and cried out to the Lord, and just you can have it all. At this point now, maybe it was a sick and tired of being sick and tired, but what I feel now is I think that was the time maybe I was finally completely broken.
I just want to ask you, when you cried out to God, do you think he heard you?
I think he heard me.
And do you think he said, I'm ready to back this guy?
I think he did too. I felt when I came in the gates here, I felt a calmness come over me. Just from my time here, more and more, I'm surrendering. Now, again, this is a process for me. There's some days I'm all in. Some days I still want to hold back a little bit. But then I realize that I'm doing that, and I can ask God to take those things from me and let me just follow his will, not mine. My will got me incarcerated. My will got me lots of jobs, lots of relationships, trying to do things my way. His will, and what that looks like, I still don't know. And there's some things maybe I don't need to know. I go day by day. I got goals, but I want to make sure that they're still in line with him. And to kind of, for me, it's pump my brakes right now and be still, know that he's God. And man, at my age, it's hard to do. I'm in my 50s. I think life's passing me by, but I've already shot 30 years, plus 30 years of my addiction. So, what's another year or two here at the Phoenix Rescue Mission at the Transforming Life Center. But, just slowing my roll a little bit, and realizing that I am broken. I'm gonna be broken. I've tried to do things my way, and obviously, look where that's got me.
I think it's encouraging to hear your message of humility, because God has his terms. I just read, by the way, I don't know why I read this. I read the terms of surrender for the United States gave to Japan. It was unreal. I took 3 or 4 words out of it and put Jesus in the whole thing. Amen. And it was like unconditional surrender. It was an awesome doc to read. And I don't know if we're ever really ready for ultimate surrender or whatever. I never know what that means until you're pushed up against the wall and until you see it.
I knew I was done wrestling with God. It's like I've been in this wrestle match, and sure, when things are going great, and I count those times when things weren't going great, and God, I need you right now more than ever, and having that selective faith, but really being humbled and where I'm at now and what I've been through. And showing up at the gate here was really a thing that almost a life and death thing that I've just felt that if you don't get this now, or you don't open your mind up to get this, it's probably going to end up in death.
Right. And I mean, you came here alcoholic.
Yep, came here shaking.
Coke, anything else besides that?
Cocaine and alcohol and marijuana.
Right.
Were my go-tos.
And when you think about it, I mean, a lot of people take on detox differently, right? I mean, with the God component, you're on your way, right? But there's other places. I've been in clinicians here in the city where there's no God component. And I don't know what they're doing. It seems like an utter waste of time. I have found that drugs, I even like this verse in the book of Acts, it actually translates the word sorcery into the Greek word pharmakos. I mean, I was like, hey, how dark can it get, right? Now I'm not just doing dope, I'm actually trafficking in some of the issues of hell, So when you come to a place yourself, when you showed up here, what was your idea and of getting off all these things? And was it longer than you thought, or was it shorter than you thought, or better, easier, what?
My first time here, it was about what I thought. I really didn't know what this was about. I knew I needed to clean myself off. I thought maybe after 10 months that would do it. It didn't do it. I left here, and quickly I didn't bring the things that I learned here, the connections that I made. I didn't take them out into the world with me, and didn't take long for me to relapse.
Let me ask you this: why did that not stick on the first pass?
I left soon. I panicked. COVID was a thing, and I got caught up in the COVID. They were making some restrictions here. Looking back on it now, I should stay put, but I thought it was in my best interest to. I thought I was ready to go back out into the workforce. This was the time to do it, despite with COVID going on. There's still some areas that were really prospering. I thought I got this. Plain and simple. I had the clean time of 10 months. Which isn't much time now looking back on it, but I really thought that I got this. I was connected. What I didn't expect when I got out there, though, was the churches being closed down during when the coronavirus first hit. The support groups, a lot of things were closing down, so that put me isolating. But again, I don't want to use that as an excuse. Sure. I chose to leave here in community to try to go establish another community. That never happened, in which I isolated and relapsed shortly after that.
But you did come back.
And
the second time was a major reality check, gut check for you.
Yeah, right before I came back here, I went through a couple days of withdrawals. I was fortunate enough to be able to stay at my mom's house. I had some family members checking on me. I was withdrawn from alcohol. Once the shakes subsided, I called down here, and they said they could take me the very next day. What a blessing, man! I got down here that's a God thing all the way. I was able to come back here. I'd been here before, so of course I showed up with my tail between my legs, embarrassed. Again, very, very humble, but they welcomed me back here with open arms, man.
How much condemnation did you get from the staff when you came back here? Hey, you screwed up out there. You thought you were ready to go. A lot of people probably told you not to go.
That was a deterrent. At first, for me, it was a deterrent not to come back, because I thought, I'm going to go back there and get ridiculed. I'm going to get some condemnation. And it was the opposite. I came back to open arms, and man, we're glad you're back, brother. Glad you're alive. We have a God of second chances, third chances. I'm not the only one here in this program that we've had to go out and do a little more research, as I said earlier. Coming back this time.
Is that what it's called now?
Well,
a little R&D on the street?
Straight relapse.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But again, losing sight of my Lord and Savior and thinking I could do things on my own and not being dependent upon Him. But I was welcomed back with open arms. And
how can you express to our audience how that is monster mercy from God? Just to be accepted without, hey, I told you so, pointing the finger, you should not have done this, should have done that,
It is monster mercy. I mean, I didn't deserve it, man. I really thought, like I said, I fought with myself to come back here, and just that made the whole difference for me coming back. It was, again, getting something that I didn't deserve, and these guys are just been so loving, and we all want what's best for each other, but I could just feel the love coming from the staff, and actually genuine, and the peers too. Glad you're back, man, and glad we can be in fellowship again. And we sometimes we deviate from what we want to do, from what God has us wanting to do, and we come back, and that's a part of recovery. I've learned that sometimes you're going to have those relapses, but if we can get back into recovery, and stay there, we can learn the habits and those things that go along with it.
I just want to encourage you. Listen, if you've already walked from a detox or rehab, or even if you're in Phoenix and you walked out of here, you're going to be welcome. There's no condemnation in this. We all know the problems to get to place of sobriety. We all know it, and sometimes there's stumbling going on. And a righteous man even falls 7 times. So we get that. And here's a line I just want to make sure you hear. In the economy of our relationship with God, He's already put in that mistakes we're going to make. Right. So I want to encourage you to go back and get this right. Now, another thing that you brought up, which I think is a huge thing, is you started picking up on this thing on your identity in the Lord. Right. This isn't who you are. This identity in the Lord is who you are. Talk a bit about that, because that's almost, if you don't mind me using the term, it's almost kind of like spiritual schizophrenia, right? Yeah. You were this, but now your identity's that.
Yeah, out there I identified myself with what kind of job I was holding, maybe having the beautiful girl on my arm, what car I drove. I was identifying myself with material things, but inside, man, I was a wreck, again, from childhood issues. But I thought if I put those things around me and made that my identity, but it was superficial, now today, coming back here, I've identified, myself basically as a child of God, a son that is loved, and I don't put my identity in material things anymore. And it's just been quite a transformation. It really has, I don't.
It's not overnight.
It's still happening. It's going to probably continue for the rest of my life, and recovery is going to be a thing. But I really had that moment where I just felt a lot of peace come over me, and know that He's got my back. God has my back, and I've seen people out there identify themselves in that same way I was doing before with material things, and seeing the wheels come off that too. So I've experienced it, I've seen it, and I know that the world puts up this perception of what we need to have, and it's totally false.
Now, your identity is a totally different person. That other person doesn't exist. I read your story, and my first thoughts were that you didn't take anything from your former life and bring it into your future. I mean, that told me there's nothing to salvage a lot of times in our past,
right.
So why bring it forward?
Yeah, well, in my past, I stuffed a lot of things. Here in this program, I've learned that, a lot of the things that happened, a lot of the traumas in my past, I kept stuffing them down and moved on with my life. Well, like a trash can, eventually the stench is going to come up again. So I've been able to seek the Lord and seek my brothers and sisters in Christ, and bring them alongside those traumas, and try to heal from those things, Not letting my past identify who I am today. I don't identify as a convicted felon. I don't identify myself as an alcoholic or a junkie. I simply identify myself as a Christian, as a child of God, and a man that wants to learn and move forward in life, and just wait for Him. Wait for God to His will. And for me, that, again, like I expressed earlier, that takes. I've always been an impatient person. I wanted things done here and now, and now I'm having to really slow down and pump my brakes, and it's not sometimes getting to that final destination. It's the journey to get to that destination. Now I'm starting to kind of realize to stop and, as they say, smell the flowers on your way.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong if God needs to take you to a big time out.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. Most of us come into his presence for the first time exhausted.
Right.
And we don't even know it. And I think about this verse that we use in prison all the time, Psalm 23:2. He makes me lie down. Sometimes he just has to make you lie down. Well, listen, for more of Steve's testimony, again, I want you to hop out, watch it in succession. The chronology will do you good. You'll get the full meal deal. And for more information on everything that's happening here at the Transforming Life Center, just go ahead out to their website at phoenixrescuemission.org for all the information on their classwork, recovery meetings, work therapy, mentoring, vocational development, group and individual counseling. I think it'll do you a world of good, and I think that the Lord wants to restore you to health and to fix you. I can't fix myself. Steve can't fix himself. It's got to be God. So until next time, I'm Steve Savan, and remember, no one's outside the reach of God. No, not one.